Hello, you're watching The Wire. Today is the 3rd of April and this is the daily COVID-19 updates bulletin. After recording a highest number in the cases on April 1, the number of people affected with the virus has now breached the 2000 mark. The total number of people who are presently infected in India are 2088. 156 people have been cured or discharged and 56 have died. Number of infections in Tamil Nadu surged past the number in Kerala after 110 people, all of whom were present at the Tablighi Jamaat conference in Delhi, tested positive for the virus. Globally, the total number of people who have been affected by the virus has crossed 1 million. United States of America recorded the highest number of deaths, 1,169 deaths in the last 24 hours alone. This is the highest daily death toll of any country so far. Earlier, Spain had recorded the deaths of 950 people in a single day, which is a record number for Europe in this outbreak. In his third address to the nation in lockdown, the Indian Prime Minister called on people to light candles, diyas or flashlights from their balconies for 9 minutes on the 9th day of the lockdown. His address to the nation was also made at 9 a.m. today. The address is being appreciated by astrologers and numerologists who believe the power of 9 could bring strength within Indians. The address has also been severely criticized by scientists and rationalist organizations. Dr. Harjit Singh Bhatti, a national convener of the Progressive Medicos and Scientists Forum, expressed anger and disappointment at the Prime Minister's video message. He said that it is disheartening that the Prime Minister is unable to understand the gravity of the COVID-19 pandemic. The President of the Federation of Rationalist Association, Dr. Narendra Nayak, also criticized the move and said that it was hopeless that the Prime Minister was not following scientific temper at this time. Looking at the escalating situation of pandemic across the World Bank has approved a plan to disburse $160 billion in emergency aid over 15 months to help countries stricken by the pandemic. Of this, India will receive $1 billion. According to a report published by Bloomberg, India is seeking as much as $6 billion of loans from multilateral institutions such as the Asian Development Bank for its efforts to control the spread of coronavirus in India. This is in addition to the World Bank's $1 billion fund. The person under whose supervision a chemical disinfectant was sprayed on daily wage workers in Bareilly has been suspended. According to a BBC report, the Bareilly City Commissioner Abhishek Anand said that the case is further being investigated and action will be taken against those who are found guilty. On Sunday, workers who reached Bareilly from other parts of the country at the satellite bus stand was sprayed with a chemical disinfectant spray in order to sanitize them. This move was widely criticized by most Indians on social media and was called inhuman. It has been 7 days since India has been under lockdown because of the coronavirus. Businesses, small and big, have suffered because of the lockdown, and there has been a direct negative impact on the lives of daily wage workers in India. On the 31st of March, a harrowing story of daily wage workers who travelled on foot from Bengaluru to Rajasthan emerged. Near Gujarat's border, around 120 labourers, women and children included, were forcibly packed into an enclosed container with no ventilation or light and taken out of state limits. One of the workers, a 26-year-old man who left Bengaluru along with his wife and 2 young children, told the Wire's reporter Sukanya Shanta that after walking for nearly 6 days, when the family reached Vapi, they were brutally beaten up by the Gujarat police and forcibly stuffed into 2 container trucks. The Maharashtra police told the Wire that efforts are being made to counsel labourers under distress, along with the Rajasthan Labour Department. Maharashtra police also accused the Gujarat police in Vapi for indulging in inhuman act of transporting migrant workers like this. The Vapi police, however, refuted the allegation and claimed that no labourer had reached their district on the 31st of March. The ICMR in its interim advisory has recommended the use of rapid antibody tests in India for areas identified as coronavirus hotspots. Currently, the government detects the coronavirus from samples of throat or nasal swab of people with symptoms or high-risk individuals. But now, through an antibody test, government will look for antibodies in the blood that the body would have released in response to the virus's presence. The antibody test is fast and cheap, but less reliable as compared to the genetic test of the throat or nasal swabs. 2 days ago, nurses and paramedical staff at the government Rajendra Hospital in Patiala have protested against the hospital authorities for allegedly failing to provide personal protective equipment. The nurses have also held a protest outside the office of the medical superintendent. The nurses said that the personal protective equipment kits were faulty and they were being provided just to the staff in isolation wards and not to those in emergency wards. The medical superintendent on his part told the newspaper that they have asked the nurses to be quarantined at the hospital itself. He said that the nurses at the hospital were being provided everything as per the COVID-19 guidelines and that the PPE kits can be only provided to those posted in isolation wards and not to those in the emergency wards. Similar news emerged from the capital New Delhi when 4 contracted doctors at the NDMC-run Hindu Rao Hospital tendered their resignation after their demand for personal protective equipment was not met. On top of this, the hospital administration said that no resignation would be accepted and necessary action would be taken against doctors and nurses who resign. Later, the NDMC Commissioner Varsha Joshi said that any unwilling staff is more than welcome to resign, especially in pandemic, but their contract will not be renewed in future. The lack of equipment for doctors is continuously being reported from across the country, along with bottlenecks in the supply chain of medical equipments. In a report published by NDTV, it will take at least 25 to 30 more days for PPEs to reach doctors across the country. This was revealed in emails written by HLL Lifecare, a government nodal agency for procurement of PPEs, to South Western Railways when they sought a quotation for 1,300 personal protective equipment kits for railway hospitals. Owing to the shortage of medical equipment including face masks, more and more people are stitching their DIY masks at home. A PSA manual on how to make a mask, regularly wash, sanitize and store it has been released by the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. On the usage of homemade masks, the PSA said that one must ensure that the mask fits around their mouth and nose and there is no gap between their face and the mask. When wearing the mask, the side facing you should show pleats facing downwards. One must never reverse the mask for reuse. One must thoroughly wash the mask in soap and warm water and leave it to dry in hot sun for at least 5 hours. If one does not have access to sun, then place the mask in water in a pressure cooker and boil it for 10 minutes. Adding salt to the warm water is also recommended. In the absence of a pressure cooker, one may boil the cloth mask in hot water for 15 minutes. To store a homemade mask, one can take a plastic bag at home, clean it thoroughly with soap and water, let it dry on both sides and keep it sealed well. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back with another updates episode tomorrow. Until then, stay safe.